That's right. Our regular exclusive interview with the governor. We call it Talk to the Governor. Creative name. And joining us in studio right now. And you can also watch on the KTAR YouTube channel is Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs. Governor Hobbs, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
So you announced your reelection.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what happens is people are going to come out and attack your record, attack you maybe even personally. Let's go through some of the attacks so you can respond. All right, Governor, earlier today, Mike Broomhead had Karen Taylor Robson on, gubernatorial candidate on the right. I'm going to play this clip and tell me what you think. Is it true?
Everybody wants safe and secure communities. That is my number one priority, beginning with the border. You know, I'm proud to have President Trump's endorsement. He knows I'll have his back on things like border security. Governor Katie Hobbs has fought him at every step. She even called for the defunding of ICE.
Did you ever call for the defunding of ICE?
Absolutely no. And even beyond that, earlier this year, I launched Operation Desert Guardian. We enlisted the support of the federal government in this operation. It is a statewide, multi-jurisdictional, multi-agency effort to go after cartel activity. Secretary Kristi Noem tweeted in support of that. And we have the federal government's cooperation on that effort that is bearing big results in terms of drug interdictions and seizures and illegal weapons and getting bad guys in jail.
I think Trump's done the best job on the border maybe in 20 years, maybe even longer. There's just no one coming over. We don't talk about it anymore. The problem seems
By the way, I don't think that's a good thing. We disagree on that.
Be fixed. Well, and they're not coming over illegally, and I think that's a good thing. Are you on par with that? Do you think he's done an outstanding job on the border, stopping people from coming in illegally? Because Karen Taylor Robson says that you're fighting him on everything when it comes to the border.
Absolutely not. And I think that that we are the border right now is quieter than we've seen in a long time in terms of illegal crossings. And the really good news about that is that it gives us more resources and personnel to go after the really bad guys that are trying to get illegal weapons into our state and country, illegal drugs and trafficking in humans. And we have the bandwidth to focus on that now.
So you like what Trump's done on the border?
Yes.
Is it good for Arizona?
It is good for Arizona. Across the state, border security is a top issue when I talk to Arizonans, and it's why I focused on border security from day one. It's why I fought the Biden administration, who wasn't giving it the attention it deserved, and why we're working hand in hand with the Trump administration on border security now.
The economy is another big issue, needless to say, and a lot of people have questions and want to know how Arizona is doing, maybe even compared to other states.
Karen Taylor Robson said this about Arizona's economy and job growth.
We had negative job growth in the first quarter of this year. There's a reason, under Governor Doug Ducey, we had achieved the status as number one in the nation on job growth. And today we're 47th. If I tried, I don't think I could do that. But Governor Hobbs has somehow figured out how to take us from the top of the heap down to the bottom of the barrel.
Now, there is some truth to that.
Well, and this was a number she's been citing over and over again, and I've heard it from her supporters. But look, it's one statistic from one report that isn't even an accurate picture of how we measure job growth. And in fact, Arizona right now is one of 12 states that is experiencing economic expansion, and we are 8th in the country for private sector job growth. The only area that we have negative job growth right now is government jobs, and look what's happening with government cuts all over the place. So that's to be expected. But we are still experiencing a strong position in terms of jobs in our state and continued economic investment and job creation.
When we looked into the numbers, and joining us, an Outspoken exclusive, we've got Governor Katie Hobbs in studio. So when Karen Taylor Robson said negative job growth, it's not that Arizona is experiencing negative job growth overall, but I think there were specific
some
months, with a net loss of jobs. That's accurate, right?
Well, I think when the national job numbers were corrected, Arizona was the only state that had a net gain, and we had a pretty significant net gain. Our job numbers are reliant on the national numbers now because that report's not being created because of the shutdown. We don't have accurate numbers on that.
When it comes to job growth, what do you think the role of a governor is in that?
So it is a huge measure of how well the economy is doing, and it is really important to me as governor that we continue to build on the momentum that we have, continue to bring investment that is going to create jobs for Arizonans. But we have gone beyond just bringing businesses here. Businesses come here, they're attracted here because of our ready and able workforce. And we have made very strategic investments in continuing to grow that workforce pipeline so that we are meeting the needs of industry that are creating high-paying, family-sustaining jobs that Arizonans will benefit from.
Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs in studio with us every 2 weeks. Governor Ducey tweeted after your reelection announcement. I'll read it. Quote, "This dishonesty isn't surprising given the current struggles on the 9th floor. When I left office, I turned over a $2.5 billion surplus to Katie Hobbs. She blew it all and created that $1.4 billion deficit in only a year." Is any of that true?
A lot of the revenue that was left when Ducey left office was one-time revenue from federal stimulus that came out of COVID funding. And we invested that into a lot of one-time investments that benefited Arizonans, like infrastructure projects, roads in rural communities, tribal communities that have been neglected. What Governor Ducey failed to say in that statement is that he also left us with a flat tax that drastically reduced state revenue. And he knew that, signing that bill into law on his way out the door, that revenue would be in a much weaker position down the road. And so that deficit was part of the consequence of that. We righted that deficit. We passed a balanced budget that still, despite the challenges, continue to invest in important programs for Arizonans. And again, this year passed a balanced budget that invests in important programs for Arizonans, like the biggest investment in childcare since the Great Recession, a huge affordability issue for Arizonans across the state.
Are we going to continue to have a fiscal challenge moving forward?
Well, the fiscal challenges moving forward are largely the result of Washington policies and the terrible partisan Washington budget that is going to slash Medicaid to the tune of $34 billion over the next 10 years. That is slashing nutrition assistance. Outside of the budgeting process, the president is indiscriminately cutting funding all over the place, and we're dealing with the chaos from that, and it is definitely going to have budget impact for us.
Is that going to mean we're going to need to make cuts, or because I don't get the sense that the legislature is going to raise taxes on anything?
Nobody should be talking about raising taxes right now when Arizonans are struggling. But it is going to be a very difficult budget year, and we are likely going to be facing cuts.
Talk to the governor, Governor Katie Hobbs, in studio with us. You can watch it on the KTAR YouTube channel. I don't think most people care the government is shut down. Do you care the government is shut down?
Well, it's just more of Washington's chaos that is spilling over. It's harming Arizonans, and it means right now that there's a lot of federal workers that are not getting a paycheck. That hurts their families. It hurts the economy.
How is it hurting the everyday Arizonan?
Well, we have federal workers here in Arizona, the Grand Canyon, the national parks are still open during the shutdown, but they're open with minimal staffing. And what that means is this area that's already been hard hit because of the fire and the North Rim closing, and these small businesses that rely on that tourist activity and revenue, that impact is lasting longer. That recovery is going to take longer. We're hearing now that SNAP will be cut off November 1st. SNAP is a lifeline that 1 million Arizona families rely on to get through tough times.
This is the supplemental nutrition assistance program.
It's food assistance.
Food assistance. Yeah. Okay. It used to be called food stamps. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, and I for ease, I could have said that, but it's
Fair.
not.
No. I just,
Yeah.
I don't want everyone
Yeah.
to assume that we know all the acronyms. That's all.
Globe flooding,
Yes.
Tempe storm damage, the natural disaster.
Yeah.
What do you do as governor? Or do you help give them funds? Well, take us through that.
Yep. So we have a state emergency operations center that is aware of all of the weather alerts, and they're ready, standing by to provide assistance. So we were providing immediate assistance when the flooding happened in Globe and other parts of Gila County weeks ago. We have provided agency support on the ground for all the agencies that would be involved in helping with recovery efforts and resources that people need. We're providing support at the local emergency operations center. There's one in Globe. I think there's one in Tempe now too. And we communicate regularly with the officials about the need for emergency declaration, and the emergency declaration happens to free up funding. And so we have state funding that can go towards assistance. In the case of the flooding in Globe a few weeks ago, we also secured a federal declaration from the Small Business Administration to provide support to those small businesses that are impacted. It's really devastating that Globe was just beginning the process of recovery, and now they've been hit again. And so we're there, we're working closely with them, and we're in the process of preparing emergency declaration for both Gila County again and Maricopa County for Tempe.
Governor Hobbs, is the government shutdown, does that impact the ability of the federal government to provide funds or things for these areas?
So so far it hasn't.
Okay.
And we kind of made sure that would be the case in the beginning when we were relying on FEMA to come in and provide support for the first round of flooding in Gila County. So the shutdown shouldn't affect those kind of really emergency type of services, and so far it hasn't.
Governor Katie Hobbs joining us in studio every 2 weeks. So you announced your reelection bid.
Yeah.
Anything go through your mind where you said, I don't want to do it anymore?
I love being governor. I am really proud of the work that we've done to deliver on the issues that matter most to Arizonans: lowering costs, securing our water future, addressing housing, investing in education. And every single day I get to do that. And
No pause about maybe not.
I am proud of what we've done, and there's more to do, and I'm ready to do it.
Do you think that there is an opportunity, should you be reelected, to work with the legislature to get more things done?
Absolutely. This legislative session, when I say this, I mean 2025, was the most productive legislative session I think we've had since I've been elected. And the Republicans have more numbers. So it was just a lot of working across the aisle to tackle the challenges and get things done. And so I see a lot of opportunity in front of us to do that again.
You have to pick a lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
That's new, right?
Would you ever consider a Republican as a running mate?
I would consider anyone who supports my agenda of putting Arizonans first and working to tackle the tough challenges that we're facing, and working with anyone to do that.
Short list, Jake Hoffman on it, yes or no?
That agenda piece, I don't know that he could get on board. Let's see. Strategically, if he thought he was on the list, do you think that he might work with me more this session?
I don't know. Just saying.
I don't know.
Dangle
It might
the
be a
carrot.
strategy.
Dangle the carrot. You never
Do you
know.
have a short list?
There's not a list right now.
You don't have a list at all?
It's still very early.
When will you come out and say this is who it is?
That's a good question. In the requirement is 60 days before the general election, so that's after the primary. So have not made that decision yet of when we'll announce.
And to be clear, this is new for the state of
Right. Oh, yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
This is the first time we're going to have a lieutenant governor, and it's going to change the succession plan in the state of Arizona, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so we had a long line of governors not serving their full term, starting with Fife Symington, who was indicted, and then Janet Napolitano, who went to Washington. So the Secretary of State has become governor many times, And I think the argument is, they're not elected on the same ticket. They're not always the same party. And so just for more continuity of the will of the voters, then the lieutenant governor would be next, and they run with the governor.
You're in favor of this? You like the idea?
I mean, I think it's creating more government, but we have to have another office and funding and staffing and all that stuff. But the voters voted for it, and so I think they're in favor of it, and that's what matters.
You get to boss somebody around.
One more underling?
I got one more serious question.
All right.
Governor, is an execution tomorrow.
Yes.
There was a man who is going to, we all know, 1993 murders, 4 members of a family. Are you glad that executions have restarted in the state?
Look, my job as governor is to carry out the laws that are on the books and do it in a way that that upholds the law and the constitutional rights of everyone. My biggest concern when I got to office was that we were doing the process right, and I feel very confident that Director Thornell at the Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation, and Reentry has done a very thorough job to ensure that all the things are done right, and that the execution it will be done the way it's supposed to be done, and that justice will be served.
They're going to you're going to have a final say on this. It comes before your death. They'll appeal to you. No.
It's up to the
Arizona Supreme Court,
the convict to seek clemency, and in this case, he did not.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. There you have it.
Governor, thank you for joining us. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. That's Governor Hobbs.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.